caller. You are live on Truth Talk Radio. Do you have something you want to trash talk about? Open.
No, I apologize due to the fact that I'm not very skilled with phones. My name is Morgan Freeman, and I come to your show tonight to just say that you are doing great things here. So, and just to
how's the wormhole doing?
To you about what you do. The wormhole is doing very good, very good.
Very well done show. Very well done. Down the wormhole. I remember that. I think it's probably been 6 or 9 months since I've seen one. Go ahead, sir.
I liked working on that movie. It was very fun to work with. The director was very nice. And everybody was, generally skilled at what they were doing. Now, why is it that you were trashed at the Oscars, that no one paid attention to you? Why is it? Weren't you in the Butler? That's just generally because, I have such a good reputation, and just whenever somebody trashes me, it just kind of goes unseen, and you never understand why, and it just keeps going on by. So it happens, and sometimes you can just have to deal with it, and that's what I did. You got to be professional. Now, I do have a caller on here that I'm sure would love to ask you a question. Are you game for staying on and hearing a question from him? Oh, of course. Okay, let me get Beasley on here. Beasley, you're live on Truth Talks Radio, where every voice has value. Do you have a question for the famous, infamous Morgan Freeman?
No, I didn't know that was Morgan Freeman on the line.
It sure is.
Well, good. Good actor. I like Street Smart. That's going back a little ways, but he played that role pretty well.
What year? What decade was that?
I think that's 87. He would know better than me. 87, 88.
Oh, well, that's true. Morgan, when was that show?
It was
87, like Beasley?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I've been watching him for quite some time, but I didn't know that was he speaking. I'm looking here at your show description. It says, I would love to hear from the Beasleys of the world, and I'm not sure what that means.
Yes! Well, you know what? I used to be a little tissed at you, and my appreciation of you is growing, though I do hear you behaving badly on other shows, but that's on you, not me. You behave well here, I like callers like you.
Oh, I've been a mischievous, outspoken person my entire life. And I'm even more mischievous and outspoken and opinionated when I can say what I want and no one can hit me. So it just comes with the territory.
Right.
It comes with the territory. Poor Morgan Freeman. He has died maybe 2 or 3 times on Twitter over the past year and a half.
Really, Morgan? What is going on with you?
Well, people thought that that Nelson Mandela fellow was me, and every time that he died, apparently 2 or 3 times, according to this gentleman here, at Twitter, thought I was dead. And, some of these internet forums taking it from the honest mistake that it was and turning it into a joke and releasing it back on the media whenever they feel like it. And there are people who just generally don't have minds of their own and don't care to use a thing called Google.
True. That is true.
Well,
I would think that would
generally
make the
do that.
CNN at least,
And these are rumors I continually have to debunk. So.
Well,
now, is there anyone that Morgan Freeman? One moment, Beasley. Is there anyone that Morgan Freeman wants to trash tonight? Trash talk. Anybody? Any actor that you just can't stand?
Channing Tatum. I want the abs that he has, and I just can't get them.
Okay. Beasley, what were you going to say?
No, I was wondering, did Morgan Freeman, was he nominated, or did he win the Academy Award when he did Driving Miss Daisy, or did Driving Miss Daisy win the Best Picture? I'm not sure. I know it won some awards.
I was nominated, never won.
Okay.
Oh, man. That's not fair. Now, did you watch the Grammys, Morgan? Go ahead, Beasley. I'll let you go.
No, go ahead and ask him a question. I just
wondering, the Grammys, they talked about that it was a blackout. that all these white people won all the rap awards, all these different prominent awards. Do you feel that was true, or what's your thoughts on the Grammys?
You're asking a 70-something
the
Grammys
man
about hip
hop. It's not fair. It's it's as fair as it can be. There is no such thing as a blackout. That is just people pulling race into it. One of the main things I wanted to call in was to talk about a man named Bill Keller. He's a internet talk host, such as yourself, but he does not have as much of a following as you do, seeing as though I do view your show.
Yes.
I would like to say that he is a weird man, and I've seen his show once, saw it on the internet, and I don't know. I feel like I have a little chat that I'm on with from my Twitter, and that to ask me to give my opinion on Bill Keller, as they're all watching you right now. So my opinion on him is that he is not a good man. He said multiple times on his show that he has had a felony, so I do not believe that someone who has gone away from who he says is the Lord can come back to him so easily. Also, he makes a lot of money off that show, which he says he does not.
Wow. I didn't know that. Did you know that, Beasley?
No, I didn't. I don't even know who Bill Keller is.
Well,
he's known on the interwebs, is he not?
Not known by me.
Known.
He's not known by me. That's insignificant that he's not known by me. But I don't know who he is even to comment on him.
I've found.
What
Jesus,
about women that you've dated, Morgan?
Pardon?
Women that you've dated. Anything to say there? This is a trash talk night. Or you talk about the economy. You can trash talk the economy.
We'll go on your subject of women first.
Okay.
I don't like the trash women. If I dated them and it hasn't worked out in the past, past is the past. So be it. That is not how I would go about my business. Is talking about the women I have dated in the past.
That's tacky. That's tacky. You look butthurt, and looks like you're holding on to some old feelings when you start talking about old relationships and you have to trash talk someone. That's unnecessary.
Oh, that's true.
That's not
true.
The thing to do. That's not the thing to do.
And we're just having fun tonight. This is nothing but fun.
Okay. I'm curious what Mr. Freeman feels about this plethora of movies coming out of Hollywood and being promoted. You've got 12 Years a Slave, you've got Django in Chains, you've got The Butler, you've got image after image that are showing black people in slavery, and I'm black, by the way, black people in slavery or in menial positions. Why is Hollywood seem to glorify this so much? And why is there so much of this lately?
Good question.
I have a question to answer your question. What do you think drives those movies?
Well, what should drive movies, is the chance that they earn a profit. I'm sure studios are making movies with the intention of making a profit, But in the same respect, images and people's opinions are shaped by the mass media. When I say the mass media, I'm including music and movies. It's how a lot of people's opinions are formed. And when you have studios that are constantly putting out movies that are showing blacks as slaves or as servants or the help or as and it's always the same. It's always the same theme. And I'm going to quote Gil Scott-Heron, is that there's these struggling black people, and they're struggling, and life is bad and hard until a nice white person comes and shows them the way. Gil Scott-Heron referred to it as Whitey saves the day. That you have these people in the help. You have maids that are being abused and mistreated and have to work very hard. And here comes the writer. Whitey saves the day. In the movie The Blind Side, you have the big, brute black kid who's a football prodigy who lives in a lower socioeconomic home in the projects, and then comes along the nice white family that adopts him and shows him a better way. Whitey saves the day. In 12 Years a Slave, he's kidnapped and put into slavery until the nice white people come and save him. Whitey saves the day. It's almost like a whitewashing of history. Sorry for being so not speaking directly about this. And
no, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. The thing about Hollywood is that money drives Hollywood. Money.
Right.
So when you think about it, when you see movies like 42, the movie about Jackie Robinson,
right,
you knew a lot of people were going to go see it because it was a great story, right?
Good story. Good story.
It was a good story. So when you think of stories like that and stories such as The Butler and all those other movies you mentioned, people are going to go see them due to the fact that they want to see it. And movies that will generate money are going to be put out. You will not see a movie with a bad story be put on Hollywood.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, am I on?
Yes, sir, you're on.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up. There are a lot of people on the internet right now in this chat room called Uncle B on Mabit.com, and they're setting up this entire thing with like 40 people. They're all calling in to make prank calls to this show. The majority of the calls you're going to get, if they sound white, and I'm white too, if they sound white, then just hang up on them, because most likely it's their prank call. I'm just saying. Most of them are going to be prank calls.
That's horrible. That is absolutely horrible.
Yeah, they have like 30 people over here. They're like saying, "Oh, let's call them niggers," or let's say all these niggers that better get off food stamps, stuff like that. I'm just giving you a heads up. And I just want to say that
here we go again. Once
blind
again,
user
thank you
is
very
a big
much.
fucking faggot, and I also want to say that devil work is too. And you're not going to get rid of me out of your chat room, fucking faggots.
Right. Whitey saves the day. Once again.
Well, that was informative. Very informative.
Whitey saves the day. Once again.
That's why I loved playing God and Bruce Almighty. It was very good because nobody thought that God would have been black.
Well, if God was made, if man was made in God's image, and the original man is from Africa, God is definitely black.
Well, this is true.
But the heads of Miramax aren't. The head of Warner Brothers.
Any more questions you'd like to ask me? I'll be up for a little while. So.
How do you feel about the presidency of Barack Obama?
I feel like, in my personal opinion, that he did a great job in running his campaigns, and he has done really, really great with his presidency. He made history being the first black president, but that's not what we want to make it about. We do not want somebody to get elected purely on race, and that's how you want it to be. You want to elect somebody off of how they run things, and he hasn't run things very well so far. He has done things that he said he would do, and he hasn't done things that he said he would do. So, but every president is like that. Every president through history, except for George Washington.
I guess I'm really disappointed, and it just comes
Why
from.
Why are you disappointed?
Well, when people talk things one way and they walk things another, it lets me know that they were bullshitting me. And he definitely bullshitted in a major way. And I'm just talking about in terms of civil liberties.
That's how every politician is going to be. You never know how they will run in office until they are actually there. What they run off of is basically,
I guess, after eight years. Right. Well, after 8 years of the Bush administration, and here's this fresh face saying all the right things to appeal to progressive folks. He talked it one way and he walked it another way. I haven't seen a lot of change. I've seen more of the same. I've seen more of the same, and I'm not really happy about it.
Yeah,
but
there's always the next election.
Some people.
It's going to continue to be. These guys that are being elected and are going to continue to be elected aren't. I guess no politician is principled. They're more practical people, but I'm not expecting anything good to come from it. These people are all administrators that are controlled by much more powerful forces. Let me think of another question, and let me think of something that's related to the movies.
What is your dream role?
That is a good question. I mean, I've played many roles, so I
know.
Can't really, say that I have a dream role. I guess my dream role would be to be somebody invincible in a movie, but that's not really going to happen. I think that my dream role has already been played. I got to play God. So.
Hey, that's about as invincible as you can get, Morgan.
True.
There you go.
God is even more powerful than Harvey Weinstein or Joe Roth.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Joe Roth,
or the president, for that matter.
He may not be as powerful as Irving Azoff, though.
See, I don't know who that person is. Irving who?
Irving Azoff. He was a former agent. He runs Live Nation.
See, Beasley lives in California, so he's aware of certain names, and I think I need to study up more.
I just read. We just have different interests, that's all. I don't know jack about that, except I got him when I was 6, and I never got diphtheria, polio, or whooping cough, or that. Oh, you can tell I'm old. My vaccination mark doesn't even show up anymore.
It's all right. I know, we all know what a wonderful actor you are. What are some of your other passions?
Some of my other passions are, as I do have a lot of time and a lot of money, I like to build ships. I have a garden out in back, and then I have a nice size shed, and I build ships in bottles, and sometimes I whittle, and I like taking care of the horses that I have. So.
Smoke weed?
That sounds good.
No, sir, I do not smoke marijuana.
Really? I'm assuming
Someone
you
does
tried
have a number of medical problems, so I think it's healthy. But I've never smoked marijuana myself either. So.
Ever?
I think the thing about marijuana with celebrities is that it only shines in a harsh way. I mean, look at Miley Cyrus. She smoked a little bit of pot, and they got out, and all of a sudden now she's shaved off all the hair.
Yeah, well, she's doing better than Michael Seymour or Philip Seymour Hoffman, but you don't mind.
Oh, one day she's going to try the wrong thing.
You never know.
And I hope
You're
that
right.
day never comes.
Well, I noticed that you tweet those people.
What
yes,
people?
I do, frequently.
No,
okay, that's cool.
Angela tweets Miley Cyrus and the Jenner girls. I just read something on TMZ that Bruce Jenner went and had Adam's apple shaved, and TMZ, and they're putting it out there, and I think this must be coming from Kris Jenner because she's in tight with TMZ, and she's a nasty one.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that he's trying to turn himself into a woman.
Yeah, Hoffman started with marijuana.
If that's his identity, then that's his identity. And
I don't think
that's
not
his easy.
It sounds like a smear piece, like they're trying to humiliate him. I bet they're getting it. I bet they're getting into heavy discussions about division of the assets.
Oh, I believe that too. I recently got an email where I was being blackmailed, threatened, and no one's going to silence me. No one.
Talked about you for a good hour.
Who?
Finally let me.
Oh, her? No, it doesn't matter.
She finally let me on her show. She finally let me speak on her show, but she didn't let me speak too much. She says, I'm on her side. I said, I'm not on anybody's side. I'm on Beasley's side. I think all of you guys
I
are
would
crazy,
say that's
right?
true. This is cyberbullying. Just let me explain the situation. I have a crazy former co-host that has been giving me problems for over 2 years, and now it's going to come to a court of law, so I have no other choice. So I'm not going to talk any more about it, because
she has a hardcore rivalry going on.
She has a sickness, and I hope one day she gets help. I wish the best for her. Nothing bad. So, that's about it on that. But cyberbullying, does that happen to you, Morgan? Do people try to strong-arm you?
All the time, as being a public figure and idol of many, and there are people that will decide that they'll take it upon their hands to try and take me down a notch when, there is no notch that I need to be taken down to.
True.
People, just because they have not made money or been able to have opportunities that I have had in my life, decide that they need to try and, again, take me down a peg. So it happens all the time, but, it's just how you deal with it and what kind of person you are that shows.
Now, do you practice stoic calm? Where you try to let everything roll off your back like a duck? Because that sounds like your attitude. I like that attitude.
Well, I do have a yoga instructor, and I do yoga about 4 times a week, and that helps me relieve all my stress.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any new projects coming up, Morgan?
Any new projects that I have, I could not tell you at this time due to the fact that, contracts are being signed and don't want to release anything. But if I did, I would definitely tell all of you.
They don't, Hollywood folks, they don't jinx deals.
See, I don't know. I just thought maybe there was one in the works. I had no idea. But Beasley, did you have an additional question? I don't want to leave you out. So.
I just know that they don't like to jinx deals. They don't speak on anything until the ink is dry. Correct?
Correct. Oh, I forgot. I do have one movie.
Global warming. I want your answer on global warming. Because Tokyo just got almost 11 inches of snow. It's the most snow they've ever had in almost 50 years. Do you think global warming is true?
No, I believe global warming is a complete ruse made by people to try and make money. As you can tell, we've had record temperatures everywhere. Very hot over in California where I am, and very cold in other places where it shouldn't be that cold. I know for one place in Illinois, it got down to -40, and that is not supposed to happen there.
Wow.
And you can quote me on that. It's very much a ruse.
I understand. I do. I was just curious. I'm seeing all these places that are not used to having snow, getting record amounts of snow, and I don't know. It makes me wonder if that current hasn't moved. I was just curious. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Any questions, I hope.
Beasley, I'm sure you're teaming. Pardon?
I almost forgot to tell all you guys. I have one movie that I can tell you about. You should see previews on YouTube and Twitter and all the social media in about a couple of weeks. It's going to be called Battletoads. You will see that.
Battletoads. There it is. There it is.
There it is.
I'm going to be voicing one of the main characters.
So much fun.
I love Battletoads.
So much fun.
That guy sprung battle. Some guy sprung Battletoads on us on Vern's show, and we didn't know what Battletoads were. He said, no, the Battletoads, they come out of the mud. No, they come out of the mud, and then they enter through your anus. And Vern said something like, well, that's really not that polite of them. He said, the guy said, no, you don't understand. They don't ask permission, and they help clean out your insides. Yeah, I know what Battletoads are. I know what Battletoads are. That's cool.
Morgan.
I learned what Battletoads
It's not a play on internet means, but I guarantee you it's nothing like the internet has portrayed it. I guarantee. You can quote me on that.
Really? Really?
Yes.
You don't say?
Yes.
I'm having so much fun. Let's ask a really off-the-wall question. Try that. Oh, come on. He's getting tired of trolling us. Okay. Got it. I understand. It's taking forever to mute him. That's not fair. I couldn't even call into the show today. It was this is horrible. Can you still hear it? Maybe I can just hang up on him. Okay. First time I ever hung up on somebody, but the board is acting funny. I couldn't even Skype into my own show. That was frustrating. That was funny. That was hilarious. If you're still listening, kudos. That was so good. It was hard to keep a straight face. Was it hard for you to keep a straight face?
I've heard the song before.
No, I mean the whole thing. I mean, didn't
Oh no, I wasn't sure for a moment, so I was just going to act accordingly.
Really?
Yeah.
I recognized his voice. He always calls in that he's Morgan Freeman. He starts talking about the wormhole, and so it's funny.
Well, he live in California. See, I'm researching him now. I was about to ask him what his birthday was, but I wanted to do it in a kind of...
that would have been good. That would have been good. Yeah, you and we have a great time on this show. You know, all my misgivings were wrong. I mean, I must say that publicly. You know, I think you're a pretty decent guy. You know, you're just ornery on some shows.
There's a lot of people on here that, you know, need to be confronted.
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to let some things go. I think you get involved so much in the argument, you maybe sometimes don't know when to let it go. Well, I know, but when other people are trying to talk, though, I mean, especially the other hosts, you know.
Last night, that guy was just completely off the wall, and they're idiots.
We all knew that. We all knew that.
And for some reason, I get underneath their skin in a way. So why not just stop Beasley? Make Beasley stop talking. I love that. It's like, that's empowering, you know.
Like I had the power to do that. I'm like, what? I put my hand to my head and just shook my head like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You know, but I did try to slow you down once or twice. I was like, oh, this is embarrassing.
That's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's
not going to work. Come on. It was funny.
But no, your nemesis was like, no, you're on her side. He's on her side. I'm I'm not on any.
You're one of the haters, I guess, right? Whatever.
Yeah, I think.
She's going to have to learn a different way of existing because that's not going to work for her anymore.
Poor Mr. Solution.
She gave me. I would want to tell you in private the gift she gave me. I'm so glad for her ugly side because now I have evidence. Oh, it's so wonderful. You know, I've learned a lot this week about cyberbullying and what's considered evidence and what's not, and I've learned a lot, and I can't say more than that, and I'm dying to.
God. If you guys were to ever take each other to court, it would be a 5-month trial. It would be a long trial.
No, not really. Not when the evidence is this good. So, and I'm just looking to protect myself and my children, if you catch my drift. So.
Nothing wrong with doing that.
Mhm. And I wish her well. You know, I think she's got a lot of talent, and she certainly did in the beginning. And then things spiraled out of control. That's even before I got there. So, but enough of that talk. You know, I want to let people trash talk. Anybody you want to trash talk tonight?
No,
an old girlfriend, an old school teacher?
Nah, see, I don't know.
You don't hold any ill will against a past school teacher that gave you an F when you know you deserved an A?
Well, Miss Rothbaum, now that you brought it up, in the 5th grade, she really had an unfair system for grading the spelling test. It was really an unfair system where you would have 25 spelling words. I was never really that good in spelling, right? But you'd have 25 spelling words, but she took 10 points off each time you got one wrong.
Oh, so 4 is 60 if there's 10.
Yes, so So yeah, exactly. So I get 4 wrong, and I get a 60, and I get a D, or I get a D or an F. You miss 5, you got an F, and you bring that home, and you got to explain that it's not mathematically correct, and my parents weren't having that shit. And I used to get into a lot of mess with her because of that.
Now, I have a question. Were they teaching you phonetically or, to memorize the word?
Just give you the words. Here's the words on Monday, and know them all by Friday, and do your science work and your other work and all this other work.
Well, certain children can memorize words, easily, and other children need the phonetic pronunciation to learn how to spell with that.
I don't know that she gave us any clues or hints or techniques in order to learn spelling, except hear the words and go and learn and just know it. And I'm grading on a real unfair scale.
It's been difficult to teach my own children about spelling because they're conceptual learners. Conceptual learners find it difficult to spell. So like Tesla, perfect example of a conceptual learner, where they see the big picture and they don't really see the details. Once they get the big picture, then they got it, and it's integrated in them, and they'll never forget it.
Well,
maybe you're more of a conceptual learner.
You would think, because I can say many words that I can't spell properly. Thank God for spell check and the internet.
Amen on that,
Yeah,
I'm with you there. I'm a horrible speller myself. I'm a conceptual learner, so now it makes sense. But why don't we take some calls and see if anybody wants to rant? And guys, I can't put you back on mute easily, so if you're trolling, unfortunately, I'll have to hang up on you after you say certain words that might get me canceled. So please understand that. The first person that's been waiting for almost 25 minutes is 514. You are live on True Talk Radio. Do you have any trash talk? Any old teachers, girlfriends, boyfriends?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, great. Listen, I am calling because I'm so furious. Listen, I'm a pastor, okay? I run a ministry called Life Prayer TV. And I'm going to be honest with you. People get jealous. At the end of the day, because what we do is so unique, because what we do is so scenic. I mean, some of the other pastors out there, they don't have the guts to go out there and preach the real truth. Those theological midgets like Joel Osteen. I'm on the front line.
Oh, I hate him.
At the end of the day, I'm on the, with the slings and arrows. And I'm just trying to deal with people. And, I've got hundreds, I'm on the Internet, but I'm also on hundreds of TV stations. And I don't know where they hear, from me, but they do hear from me. And, they see what I do, and they say, wow.
Are you on Blog Talk also? Do you simulcast on Blog Talk also?
No, unfortunately not right now, but, soon. I hope that I'll be able to set this up. I'm probably going to call it by what my friends call me. They nickname me King Bill.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll be able to take my ministry, Live Prayer TV, on Blog Talk. And, it's so scenic. It's really unique. I'm trying to really connect with young people, because those young they're not interested in the Bible. They're not interested in spirituality. And I try to convey my message, bring it to them, using their language, using, all the brothers out there. I'm, trying to connect with them in a way they can understand with topics that relate to them. So
real life events. I get that. I understand that. Now on Blog Talk Radio, there is a coupon. If you search for the coupon, search coupon Blog Talk Radio, 50% off. You get your first month free, and then the second month that you have to pay, you'd only have to pay $20 instead of $40. That's a really good deal.
Oh, really?
For 2 months. Yeah, it's a good deal.
Can you say a prayer for us, Pastor?
Hey, that's a great idea, Beasley. I really need some protection. I have this woman that's after me, and I've had to take some legal steps this week, and I would really love to hear some words of protection. Beasley, do you have any requests?
No, your protections are good enough for me.
Okay.
All right. Let's try this. Lord, today I lift up my brother Beasley and my other sister. I lift them up because, please, we know, Lord, that you hear us. You know, Jesus the Carpenter is our Lord and Savior, and we know that you're there for us and for our need when we're hurting. And we ask you, oh Lord, Jesus the Carpenter, to bless us and to give the Holy Spirit, send the Comforter to bless us and to protect us from the evil one, from the one that is in the world today, that is corrupting the youth, that is eroding the moral values of everyone out there. So we pray that you will be able to sustain us, and we praise God for everything that we do in our daily walk with you, Lord. And please, Father, bless us, and we will serve you with all our hearts and mind forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Wow.
Well done.
That was so sad. Very powerful. Very powerful.
Very good. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
He knows how to put together a prayer.
Yeah.
Well, that's our Lord and Savior, Jesus the Carpenter. He's the one. He's the only way. There's no other way. You know, when I was young in my teenage years, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you. I was involved in drugs. You know, I was an addict. Started off with you know, what you would call light drugs like marijuana and pot, but then, you know, I have a very addictive personality, and I got involved in cocaine, and then it went on and on and on, and I was down on my luck. You know, I became homeless, and I'm so thankful to God for this. I met with a pastor who was doing, you know, open air preaching in the streets, and he came to me, and he changed my life. He gave me purpose. That's when I surrendered my life to Jesus, to the Lord. That day I became born again, and he took me under his wing. That pastor, Rick, if you're hearing this, you know, thank you so much. And from then on, it changed my life so much that I wanted to emulate Rick, you know, become a pastor myself, and here I am today, you know, preaching to the youth.
You know, I've heard of a pastor. His name's Rick Perry. Was that the pastor?
Rick Perry. No, that would be
the governor of Texas.
Rick Perry, yeah.
No, I mean a pastor. I actually know a pastor by that name. So.
Oh,
really?
Rick Perry's the governor
well,
of Texas.
I know of Rick Warren, not Rick Perry though.
Rick Perry is one of those big-time mega preachers whose son just committed suicide not that long ago.
Right. I do know quite a few people in the industry. I have just lost my studio. Beasley, can you take over for a minute for me?
Well, I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try. Well, I'm amused by this Bruce Jenner story. They've got Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner, he's getting a divorce from Kris Kardashian. And Kris Kardashian is supposed to be in tight with the people at TMZ. Like she feeds them information and story on people's, right? Including her own family.
Right.
Well, the story that's coming out on Bruce Jenner, he's had lots of plastic surgery. He's getting his Adam's apple stuck out, so he's getting that shaved down. Apparently, he went somewhere to have that shaved down, but they're saying he's also trying to grow breasts and grow his hair out and letting his fingernails grow longer.
That is insane. That is ungodly.
But hold on a second. And they're trying. I don't believe the story for a minute, but it just shows how nasty that Kardashian clan can be, particularly the mother. So I think what's happening is that she's getting a divorce from this guy, and now it's getting down to division of the assets. And he came into the whole situation set, but she's built an empire of sleaze and nothingness.
Oh yeah,
and,
definitely.
And she makes $50 million a year doing it.
That's
true.
true.
Well, the enemy works with money, and he's in every big business, big corporations out there. People are being, they're selling their souls, literally. It's amazing.
The seven deadly sins.
I was talking about moral values being eroded. There you see, today you see you see everything. You see transgender people. No, now, before I go into this, I feel for those people. I minister to those people. I try to help those people. But, we see women turning into men turning into women. We even see mixes of both in the same person. We see all kinds of relationships from homosexual relationships to even bestiality. There's some pornography on the internet called furry porn, and these people are into anthropomorphic animals. It's really disgusting. If you see in 50 years how perverse and more perverse the society has become, with those furries and transgenders and traps. There's a new phenomenon called traps. They're, transvestite. It's crazy, and you see that with this.
They're what?
Yeah, you can see.
What's a trap thing? What's the trap thing?
Oh, that's a new term that they. Well, I know about these things because I have, like I said, I minister to. Like I said, I minister to young people, and that's where they're talking to me about, all these new lifestyles and everything.
I've heard
a trap.
Fluid. Pastor, I've heard the term gender fluid. Do you hear that quite often with the teenagers? Yeah, this unisex.
Well, that would be
dressing.
The politically correct term. That would be the term, the dictionary term. But the slang term, call it. That would be.
I'm still learning. The slang what?
Trap. T-R-A-P. Trap, like a mouse trap.
Oh,
that's what they call those gender fluid persons. Those you could call them a transvestite, I guess, if you will.
Well, I homeschool. We have one transgender child, and I try to treat the child with much respect. And often I don't know if I should call the child she or he, because I don't know what's appropriate. Does the mom really want her to be out? And it's difficult.
Right.
The child's very young.
Well, the question I'm asking is this: how can a child so young make any kind of consent or have any kind of consciousness as to what he is or what he wants to be? I mean, I saw this in the news earlier, a couple of days ago. There was this lesbian couple who had this child, and they were claiming that he is transgender, and they wanted him to turn, it was a boy, to become a girl, and it was like a child of 5 years old. How can a child of 5-year-old know anything about these things? Those are, it seems to me, ideas.
I have an
answer
for that. That even at a young age, I've known this child since this child was about 2.5, 3. Always played with boy toys, and even the hair. One side of the head is shaved, and the other side looks like a girl. It's a little bit bizarre, and that's not a troll thing to say. I mean, that's the reality. And my heart breaks. That must be such a difficult position. They're having the DNA tested.
Oh, boy.
What were you going to say,
really?
Beasley?
Oh, I don't know. Just a tomboy little thing. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Important thing, the kid is smart.
This one takes it to extreme. You can tell there's something different about this child.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Just keep teaching them.
And if it's in the DNA, where it shows that this DNA has more, what's the word, male hormones, it could very well have been that there was a birth defect, in a sense. just born in the wrong body.
Listen, at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you. I got to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I minister to those people. I've ministered to a lot of gay men, lesbian women, and honestly, I'm just being honest with you. 85 to 90% of those people that I've ministered to, in what I do is I'm in counseling, also Christian counseling, and in counseling they all admitted to have had sexual abuse early on in their life. So I think that tells a lot about, that it's not only a genetic thing. They're searching for the gay gene. That's the lie of homosexuality. A lot of it has, it comes from the environment. It comes from personal abuse that people had. I'm not saying all gays have been abused, but in my personal experience, in my ministry, a huge amount of them, have been.
This guy's good. This guy's high end.
Yes, he is, very much so.
Yeah, it's high end. This isn't your average Battletoad. Well, then again, Morgan Freeman wasn't too bad either.
No, I mean, this is incredible. I think he's a real pastor, though. I do have a question. The drag queens.
Yes.
Now, I've talked to a couple of drag queens, and every single one of them had gone through abuse as a child, through a man or a woman abusing them sexually. I think it's more prominent in the drag queen world. Have you found that to be true? Because I imagine you have all different types that come to you.
Well, drag queens, I don't remember encountering too much drag queens, but I mean, mainly what I've been talking about with the abuse was mainly with gay men, honestly. But obviously you get the occasional, I don't know, I don't differentiate between transvestites or drag queens. They seem a little bit all alike to me. But like I said, whether they're drag queens or transvestites or gay men or lesbians or traps, they all have had abuse, early on.
Don't you think that's true of pastors' wives? Or people in the ministry?
Wives. Oh, yeah. Well, you've seen it with Ted Haggard.
Well, being a homeschool mom, and I've been heavily involved with different couples, pastors. That sounded bad. I've been friends, and I hear all these survivor stories, how the Lord delivered them from abuse over and over and over. And I think that's what makes some of these Christian women very petty.
What exactly makes them petty?
I think because they're so focused on, I've gone through this abuse, I survived it. It's kind of an elitism. They get mad at other people for minor things because they've had it so hard. Why should that person have it so easy? And this is behind the scenes.
Are you talking about self-righteousness?
Yes, very much so. The mega churches especially. I live in an area where there's really big-name mega churches. There was a youth pastor and his wife. A youth pastor and his wife from Victory Christian Church. You can Google it. A teenager was raped in the stairwell at a big church. And they chose not to call the police. They chose not to call the police. And they debated about it for a day or two, and then they decided to call the mother, much later. And I know the mother. It was a messed up situation. And it's a lot of self-righteousness and not wanting their church to look bad. It's all about how they look.
Well, that's why to me mega churches are an abomination. The whole Joel Osteen, P.D. Chase, whatever. A church is supposed to be about fellowship. In order to have fellowship, you need to know the person that's sitting right in front of you, to your left or to your right. When it gets so big, you don't know one guy, one gal from the other. You don't know anybody. They're all strangers. So to me, a church is a local body. It can't be some 10,000, I don't know how many people. And because when it gets so big, it becomes a business. And that's why, they didn't report the rape and everything. It becomes a business. They care more about money than they care about, their congregants.
I believe they pleaded guilty to a lesser charge. I forget what the charge was, but it was just messy.
Right.
Now, we do have a lot more calls. You're welcome to stay on. There's another one that's been holding for over 30 minutes. Beasley, can you stay on?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'll stay on if you'll have me on. No problem.
Sure.
What's your name, Pastor?
Bill.
My name is Bill Anderson. Bill Anderson.
Okay, Bill.
All right. Area code 407, you are live on Truth Talks Radio. It's Trash Talk Night. And we have a pastor on here with Beasley and myself, Angela. Do you have anything to discuss tonight, Trash Talk or otherwise?
Well, first, I just wanted to say hello, Angela, hello, Beasley, and hello, Pastor. It's nice nice being able to be on the show.
Well, thank you.
And, I do have some things I want to trash talk. We'll see.
Okay. Okay, no N-word. No N-word.
Oh, yes, of course not.
I don't want to get canceled, that's why.
No, never would I ever say that.
Thank you.
Well, yeah,
right.
Well, first, Pastor, I just wanted to get your opinion on gay marriage.
My opinion?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I gotta be honest with you. At the end of the day, I believe what the Bible says, and the Bible calls homosexuality a sin, and calls marriage as being defined as between one man and one woman for their lifetime. So obviously, I would be against it. I'm not against gay people. I'm against the sin, not the sinner. But that being said, I'm going to oppose it. But also I would like to add that I believe that change has to come from within, from people. I would not like to enforce my specific point of view upon other people by law. I would like this to, I would like there to be some kind of revival in America where, naturally people would not like to have gay marriage, but I would not like to enforce that upon anyone.
Okay.
That makes sense. I know in Leviticus it says that type of behavior, a man lying with a man, is an abomination to God. And those are strong words.
Right. Well, it
is
a very strong word, but you gotta look at it in the context of the Israelites, I know that some of the laws from the Old Testament seem harsh, but when you look at it from in that time period, when you were looking at all the other nations, all the other pagan nations around Israel, it was completely insane. They were sacrificing babies in the fire to an idol called Molech. Yeah, but to Baal, they were so depraved that the Israelites were an amazing example of righteousness, and obviously they had their flaws like any other nation, but and that in the context of that time period, God works with sinners, and that must be incredibly frustrating to him, but he deals with it, and he took that nation. And he worked within that specific time period, that specific context, the society of that time, and improved upon it.
Aqua Boogie.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I can hear you better now. The last three sentences were very hard to understand.
Okay.
Are you there?
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's not your fault. It could be BTR.
Rant about.
You have a rant that you want to do?
Oh, not much of a rant. I just wanted to, I guess, blow off some steam for my day. I mean,
stress relief.
Okay, right. Well, first, at my place of work, you just get people who just get up in your business, and it's just something I hate dealing with. And also, I just you don't
sound angry enough. You don't sound angry enough. I'm going to need you to pick it up.
He may be tired of being angry. I bet that's what it is it, sir?
Okay, I just want him to actually get it off of his chest.
Mhm.
Go ahead and let the emotion out. But if you're too tired, then I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you're frustrated, angry, you want to rant about at your work?
Well, if I had to choose one, it's the black people.
Okay, well, what frustrates you? Is there a difference in culture where you live? Are you getting attacked?
Is it the watermelon eating that's bothering you? Are they spitting the seeds all over the place? Are they not eating genetically modified watermelons?
Beasley's African American. He might find this a little bit testy, so
no, it's not testy at all. It's coming. I wanted to go ahead and help him along.
I love to eat watermelon.
I was
My
trying
skin
to
tastes
pump
white.
for him.
It's nothing against black people in general. It's just against the black people at my work. I know it sounded like
Go ahead. He's trying not to crack up. Go ahead and spit it out.
Niggers.
God,
now wait a minute. What if they're oversensitive? What if the people at his office are oversensitive about race issues? That's frustrating. I've gone through that before, where certain ethnic groups were oversensitive. They took everything out of context, and and then they would try to sue the company and shake my head. Never involved me, by the way, but still, I could see what it was for what it is.
White folks are really tricky. I just listened to them lynch Mr. Solutions over at that other show.
Oh,
and she set him up.
Well, let's not talk about that.
No, but she set him up perfectly. Then she acts like, "Oh my God, I had no idea that was going to happen."
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll live and learn, and then he can get some protection. Well, you know what? We could do a private show where it's a private link, and we could talk there. Then I can upload it to Spreaker. So I'm on Spreaker.com also, people. So 407, are you done, or do you want me to mute you at this point? Would you like to continue to listen?
He cracked himself up as soon as he got
I'm going to put you on mute. If you want to be heard again, push 1 to take yourself off the queue, then push 1 again to put yourself back on. All right? So I'm assuming you're getting a glass of water for your throat, because I don't know if that was coughing or laughter. Okay.
It's laughter.
All right. Yeah, it probably was.
Tell him that he can have a sip of bleach, and that's from me
the
and all the rest of the
Bill is still on the line, though. Let's not say
I'm here.
Okay.
You got any other callers? Any interesting
Yes,
ones?
I do. It's just my board's taking forever to put this guy on mute.
Oh, okay.
It's having issues. I couldn't even call into my own show. Well, he dropped now. Okay, we can take 954. You are live on Truth Talk Radio.
Hello, I'm Antonio Rodriguez. I'm from the Dominican Republic. I just wanted to talk about the entire race issue. Okay, well, there are a lot of people that I think that the majority of blacks are these thugs, right? There are a lot of thugs. I live in Miami, Florida, right? And there are a lot of African Americans that go around. They're sagging their pants. They're on drugs. I have a lot of cousins that are on drugs. They prostitute themselves, and they're males, right? There are a lot of male prostitutes, and I see this in the black community.
Well, I think in prison culture, sagging the pants is an open invitation to say, hey, I'm available, come approach me. And maybe the mainstream culture does not fully realize this. So I think in some cultures, the sagging the pants is definitely a sign of prostitution or availability. What do you think, Beasley?
Yes, I just wanted to give you an example. There was this one guy named Pete Willie. That's what he would go by. He would prostitute himself on the streets in Miami for heroin, and eventually he committed suicide because I don't know what the situation was, but he was my friend, and I see this gang culture around Black Americans, and not just Black Americans, Latinos too, right? All the time.
All different colors of humanity sag their pants. It's not just one particular ethnic group. I'm sorry about your cousin.
There are also a lot of Latinos, from Mexico and stuff like that. And I just wanted to say that What's his name?
Are you running out of words?
I just wanted to say that Blind User is a big fucking faggot, and Devil Worker...
No. Yeah, I do not want my show canceled. That's what it comes down to. I don't want it canceled. You know, if you want to say offensive things in a different way that won't get me canceled, I will hear you out. I do believe that all voices hold value, even trolls. You know, this is a safe venue here. No, it's true, Beasley. Do they not have value? Does their voice not have value?
You know how quick I'll interrupt someone. I'm listening to these people. I'm hearing them out. The trolls have something to offer.
Yes, they do. They have value. Everybody has value. Just in
Trolls
Memphis,
when
too. Martin Luther King came down for the sanitation workers, and he had them make signs that say, I am a man. Yeah, I think trolls need to do that, too. I am human, you know. Yeah, listen to me laugh, you know. A lot of them are just pranksters, and I think a lot of them have very much to add to the community. Sure.
Right. Well, the world help make the world a better place.
Yes, Pastor Bill, you're listening to all that I'm saying. You know, don't you think it's true that all voices have value?
Oh, definitely. Sometimes you got to be patient with those people. Like I was patient with those, ministering to the youth.
Do you minister to trolls in your ministry?
Oh yeah. Well, on the internet, you're bound to have a huge amount of trolls.
Right.
That's
true. And
that's a good point.
They deserve their way and their path to God through Jesus the Carpenter, like everybody else.
Well, maybe Pastor Bill is their pastor. I think that'd be cool.
He says Jesus the Carpenter.
What would be cool?
I love it.
That you would be their pastor, the trolls, the people that have a relationship with their online internet. You know,
Just think, Bill. If you really went far with this, you could end up one day be known as Saint William, patron saint for the trolls.
That might be true, but
this might be a good thing for you to help them. Because think of all the young people that commit suicide that are being trolled.
Right, you could be the patron saint for the trolls.
At one point, these trolls, they gotta leave the Battletoad and pick up a Bible. All those brothers out there, they need to throw this Battletoad in the garbage and pick up a Bible.
You know those Battletoads?
That's right.
I've heard about those
Battletoads.
Battletoads.
I mean, like I said, I deal with a lot of trolls on the internet. They've called me 10,000 times about Battletoads, all earlier on.
You poor guy.
You know those Battletoads will violate your anus and totally...
What?
No, seriously. They don't even ask permission. They don't even ask permission.
Well, that's a little bit
He's repeating information that had been told to him. So
they'll attack you. They'll attack you even if you're being nice to them. You have to sit down when you're around the Battletoads, because if you stand up, they'll make a beeline for your anus. They're good for clearing out constipation.
Well, that's a little bit too vulgar for me. I'm a pastor after all.
Well, I'm trying to tell you, it's natural. It's a natural process.
I mean, you had said this earlier. I think he heard you.
All right.
When you talked about Vern's show.
I don't mean to offend the good pastor. It actually, in case he ever became backed up or constipated, Battletoads do serve their purpose, but they don't ask permission.
Okay.
Right.
Well, we have a caller that's been on hold for 30 minutes. I'm sorry if that offended you. I apologize. This one's called Hobo Eater. I'm going to pull him on. You are live on Truth Talks Radio. I did not say the whole complete name.
This is Tony McBroney. I'm just calling in. I'm a very big brony. Do you have any idea what a brony is?
I do. I know Pony Toast.
Yeah, I'm a very big. I love My Little Pony. I have the entire collection from McDonald's. Okay. I've also been diagnosed with Asperger's. Okay.
That's cool. Beasley, behave. Sorry.
I'm just laughing. I'm behaving. I can't help but laugh.
I don't want him to feel uncomfortable. No, we have a brony group that meets in an outward city of Tulsa. That I have connections with. They're really nice people. Very creative.
I just wanted to know if clopping is considered a sin.
Clopping. He's referring to clopping as masturbation.
No,
that's a term for masturbation and bronies.
No, it's ponies. It's not humans. It's ponies.
Okay. It's considered deviant in the pony society, I guess is a nice way to say it.
Well,
the brony / My Little Pony lovers, let me explain a minute. My understanding is that brony / My Little Pony lovers are like a subculture. They have different terms like clopping, and it sounds sexual when they talk about it. I'm not in that subculture, but I do have friends that are in it, like Pony Toast. He has a show on Blog Talk Radio. It's very popular. They even have conventions for these bronies. So do you think that clopping is a bad thing for...
What if a guy dressed up as a pony and I clopped to him? Would it still be bad?
Well, in ancient Greece they called that a centaur.
Okay, but these are bronies.
Yeah.
Pastor, are you there?
But they dress up as ponies.
Yeah, I'm not too sure I know what a brony is. I'm sorry about that. But
he'll have to research that before he can give you a complete answer. Will that work for you, sir?
Overly sexual. You said it was sexual with ponies?
Yes, the new episode was today on the Hub, and
that's right.
Yeah, and I was watching it, and it was really good, and I found it very erotic. I got off on it.
Was it Pinky?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Or Rainbow? No, I actually know all the names of the My Little Ponies because I have a child that loves My Little Ponies.
My favorite one is Rainbow Dash, but Princess Luna would be my favorite one if she was on a lot more.
Uh-huh. All right. Maybe I'll do a show on bronies. Would you like to come on that show?
Yes, I would.
Okay. I'm going to put you on hold so I can take some of these other calls. I know you waited a long time, but there's a lot more that have waited quite a while as well. So I'm going to put you on hold. If you want to be brought back up later, if you have something you want to say, just push 1 to take yourself off the queue, and then push 1 again to put yourself on the queue. All right, sir? Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes.
Are you talking to me?
No, I was talking to the brony.
Oh, okay.
So it is a subculture, and a number of bronies have Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism. So it makes sense to me, though.
Okay.
So there's another Skype. Go ahead.
No.
What were you going to say?
You can take the next call. No, I'm just a little bit lost.
Hopefully this will be a more real...
brony things.
I know. It's just a subculture. In Internet radio, a lot of different cultures have shows, and that's one of them. Pony Toast is a well-known brony. He has a 2-hour show almost every night. There's a convention, a national convention of bronies, and he's always at that convention.
I thought I had seen it all and heard it all, but obviously I can still be surprised.
And they're good-natured people. They do a lot of voiceovers, voice manipulations to sound like a pony, like that. And so I do voiceovers. So I understand. It's a really good gig.
Like
My Little Pony is a really good gig. I would love to be a pony, that had the voice, but I don't yet. So let's take this next Skype caller and see if they have something they want to rant about. Let's see. What is ailing them tonight? Skype caller, you are live on Truth Talk Radio, where every voice has value.
Hi,
do you have
doing?
something you'd like to talk? Yes, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Right. I'm calling from Luton. I'm using an app from my computer where I can call. Because obviously, your phone is in America. So I'd like to talk about tonight a little bit about autism, kind of rant about it.
Altruism? Is that what you said?
No, autism. I know I have a really sick accent.
Autism, okay. Sure, we can talk about autism. Yeah. What would you like to talk about in particular?
Yeah, my school, there's a lot of normal people, and then we have special classes, right, for these little kids. Like, they have autism. And I honestly don't think that autism is real, because these kids, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing, but they keep doing it anyway. Like, because they have special needs, because people think they have special needs, people let them do whatever they want. Like, he just put his dick in your face, it's autism. So I don't
Inappropriate,
understand.
Inappropriate behavior,
Well,
I can address that. I think the problem with children that have autism is that their parents do not teach them manners, and they can learn it. You have to be very aggressive and very consistent. Even if it's at 4 a.m. and you're really tired, you need to be consistent. The parent needs to be consistent. Or caregiver. Often when they go into their adolescence, their sexual desires and some of their autism features, which may have been masked earlier, come back. They come back with full force.
I guess you just have to deal with them with the firm hand. Stop sticking your nose at the dinner table.
Well, our society today is so over-medicalized. Every single behavior is associated with a medicine, with a pill, with a medication. Every single behavior is put it as
a diagnosis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the parents get lost in the diagnosis. Go ahead.
There's this one bloke in the class, right? Honestly, I don't think he has any kind of autism at all. Like, I think he just wants to be in the stupid classes because he is stupid. Like, he can talk to people normally. He doesn't he's not shy or anything, so he doesn't show any signs of what autism would be. But he still does it, and then I don't understand it. Autism is so fake.
What's the spectrum?
But here's the thing, their parents are totally crap. They will just, leave them at school all day. And then it's come on, you know they have kind of special needs, right? And you still leave them at school. I think it's just because they're neglected and want some kind of attention. With the kid, right, he was talking to this girl, and obviously you can tell he's, shy, but that's not autism. Shy is a personality trait. And he just looks at her and goes, I'm going to give you the old tiddlywink down.
I understand. I think autism is a great subject to talk about, especially with the special needs classes and all the money's being spent and parents that really are not doing enough.
The British person, I think we lost him, the Brit Bong.
Yeah, I think he dropped off. He did. I think he might have been from Australia. I have a friend, Allison, that started a group it's called the Rainbow Group for Autism. And matter of fact, I encouraged her to start it. I remember when she started it. And she's had meetings with the Prime Minister over there, the former Prime Minister, to get more services for children with autism. And autism in the States, Asperger's syndrome is considered a different diagnosis, not exactly on the autism spectrum, but with its diagnosis label of its own code. I see I have a 407 waiting to talk. I will take all calls.
That's Florida. We're all in Florida.
Is 407 in Florida? Hi, you're on Truth Talks Radio, where every voice has value. Do you have something you want to talk about or something you need to get off your chest, stress-wise?
Well, actually, yes. The British man earlier, he was talking about how autism is not a thing, is not real, and stuff like that. But the thing is, well, I may not have autism, but I have Down syndrome, but I have friends who have autism, and they definitely have it because, even though I do have Down syndrome and I'm actually what they call a high-functioning Down syndrome, I can see my autism friends, and they are definitely different from the rest of everybody, and so that's why I think autism is real and not fake.
Well, it's definitely real.
You sound awfully, capable for someone with Down syndrome.
Mhm. Good point.
I'm sorry, what?
I said you sound awfully capable for someone who has Down syndrome. I'm very impressed.
Oh, yes. I believe it or not, the doctors do not know why. I am very, how they say, high functioning. Yes, high functioning.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it is true. Anyways, I do have something that I do want to get off my chest.
Sure.
Okay.
When
people call me retarded, it makes me very mad inside.
Well, the R word is inappropriate. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can rise about.
Yeah, I mean.
And what?
People look at me, they go, look at that retard over there. I mean, I can hold a decent conversation. If anything, I don't deserve to be called a retard. So, I mean, sure, I do have Down syndrome, but retard is definitely awful. When I'm at my job, I'm working, I'm at the grocery store, working hard to push carts, I don't like to be called a retard. It hurts me very, it really hurts me inside. I go home, I cry, and then I start to eat a lot of food because I stress eat, and that's how I put so much weight on me.
Mhm. What I would have to say is just remember when they say words like that, it means that their heart is small and needs to grow. And you could pray for them. I'm sure Pastor Bill would agree with that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A lot of people, they need to have more compassion. They really do. They need Jesus, to bring them this grace, to be able to feel that compassion.
Yes.
It's just really hard being a retard sometimes. It's just very tough. Sometimes it really gets me when they call me retard.
Well, I wish Beasley were here. Yeah, I dropped his call.
Pretty hard. Can get pretty cynic, pretty hard.
And he would tell you what to do as far as those people. And you could walk away. And you could just disregard their comment and continue on with what you were doing. Does this mainly happen in face-to-face or on the Internet?
Well, I mean, to be honest, it happens mostly when I'm at the grocery store working hard and I'm pushing my carts, because I have to work hard to earn my money. So that's
well, you mentioned a good word. You mentioned working hard and you mentioned money. When you hear someone saying in a negative tone, using the word retard, I would focus on the money I'm making and the job I'm doing to do my best job.
Oh, okay. I have one more request. For the Pastor Burt, was it? Was it Pastor Burt?
Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill.
Bill,
okay.
That's right.
Bill. I want, Bill, can you please say a prayer for all my Down syndromers out there, anybody who has autism, and anybody with any sort of mental diseases, stuff that, forces them to work at Publix and push carts for a living.
That would be my pleasure. What is your name again?
My name is Rick.
Rick, all right.
Yes, Big
Lord,
Rick.
I lift up my brother Rick today, and all my other brothers out there with Down syndrome, whether they have Asperger, autism, Asperger, anything. I lift you up, brother Rick. Lord, please bless him. Please send your Holy Spirit, the Comforter, to comfort him in his time of need. Give him the strength to sustain all the insult and all the abuse that he endures, like you endured on the cross, all the abuse and all the insults, and people were spitting in your face, Lord, but you took it. And send him that strength, send him that capability to all the Down syndrome, Asperger people out there to really, that they can, it can be long and can be hard, but that they are able to get through the day. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Amen. It was very heartwarming knowing that I have, pastors and priests out there. Also, speaking of pastors and priests, a very dark part of my childhood was when I was 10, 12 maybe. I was unfortunately touched by Pastor Dan at my local church.
What did Pastor Dan do?
Pastor Dan touched me inappropriately.
Oh, boy. Well, you see, that's those Ted Haggards of the world, that's the kind of people that give, Christians a bad rap, a bad name, and I feel for you, my brother. I feel for you. But in the end, if you stick to the truth, you stick with Jesus, Jesus the carpenter, if you stick with him, he's going to give you that strength to overcome that abuse.
Well, really,
I believe that too.
Yes, Jesus the carpenter was really a great man. As a matter of fact, some darker memories I have come to terms with that it's best for me to announce what happened is that, that Pastor Dan unfortunately touched me where I make poo-poo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very tough for me.
What part of the country
also,
are you in?
What part of the country?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would be the east.
In Florida?
Yes, Florida.
I could put you in the green room, and I'll find some numbers to get you some help. Do you know anybody in Florida, Pastor Bill?
Well, let me tell you something. You know what? Because,
sure.
I'm in my ministry, okay, I also spoke about Islam and the Muslims, and it got me a lot of death threats. I've got like 10 or 15 fatwas on me. I can even step into Saudi Arabia, and because of that, all those death threats, I have a long-standing relationship with the local police department and the FBI, and it would be my pleasure to help you prosecute this man, this Pastor Dan.
Actually, Pastor Dan was already persecuted. I made sure, I made sure as soon as it happened, I told my mom. It took me at least a week to come. Yes, it's all been sorted out. But
thank God. Praise be to God.
Oh yes, praise to
You're a strong person.
Gabe. Yep, praise to Gabe and praise to Jesus the carpenter.
Praise to Gabe.
Mm-hmm. Also, one thing Pastor Dan told me that I will never forget. Pastor Dan told me that you are all trolls who will make fun of me. People always call me retarded.
Are you there? Oh, he dropped.
Okay.
If you can still hear me, you're welcome to call back in. His call dropped. I've been having problems with BTR tonight. I couldn't even Skype into my own show, and it's been a problem on BTR. Well, as we're waiting for him to call back, we can take some more calls if you're game, Pastor Bill.
Oh, of course I am.
All right, this is another Skype call. Link is part of the first part of the name. You are on live with True Talk Radio, where every voice has value. Do you have anything that you want to... Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Okay. I've been going through a lot of trouble recently. I'm addicted to marijuana. Like I've been injecting 10 marijuanas every day.
Mhm.
Injecting?
You inject
How
marijuana?
Can you inject
Is that possible?
marijuana?
Yes.
I don't think it is.
Yes, it's called hash. What they do is they make marijuana and they make it go kaboom, and then it just goes into like a liquid.
Dang.
A liquid? Never heard of that before.
It's very, very strong. I inject.
Caller, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Are you there?
Oh yes, I am there. Yes.
Can you hear him? Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Well, sir, I can't hear him. Are you there?
I
guess I lost
can't hear him any longer.
Sir, if you can hear me, if you're in the chat room, go ahead and call back in, and we'll try to help you. Let's try this other Skype caller. Oh, there's another one that dropped. Let me go ahead and... I think I see Beasley. Beasley finally called in. He had dropped off the board, too. So I'm not just saying this, guys. See if I can get Beasley here. Beasley, is that you?
Yeah, everything on my
I'm
board,
having callers drop. Did you just get cut off earlier?
Yeah, my whole, everything's through Comcast. The TV went off, the phone stopped, everything stopped. The internet stopped all at once, and it just came back on.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was Blog Talk. I don't know.
No, not on mine.
I usually Skype into my show, and because I sound a lot different right now. I sound better on Skype. So we still have Pastor Bill here, and we've had some calls. Let's go ahead and take the first Skype caller that's been waiting the longest. Skype caller, you're live on Truth Talk Radio, where every voice has value.
Yeah, I apologize. My phone dropped. I'm the dude from earlier was talking about autism. The phone dropped because of the app I'm using. I kind of exited out of it. But yeah.
Were you the one talking about the autistic children, the parents, and so forth? I thought so. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Did you have anything you wanted to get off your chest tonight besides that?
I was wondering, I had this one thing, besides autism, right? Are you guys trolls? Like, I'm honestly, being honest with you, are you guys trolls? Like, do you know you're being trolled, and are you trolls? Because Beasley knows a lot about, what's it called?
Yeah, he seems to. He seems to know a lot about it. There's always all these new terms. I don't keep up with them, and I learn about them sometimes by people calling into my show. But, I really do believe that all voices hold value. I truly believe that. And I try to treat everybody with the respect I want to be afforded. Does that make sense? Right.
Yeah, I completely understand that, yeah. But what I
golden rule
is, like, somebody's going to troll you, right? Like, what if they come on and start calling you, like, I'm not going to say it because I don't want you to get your show cancelled and all that, like the C word, starts with a C and with an right? Like, what if somebody starts coming on, calling you that, and just starts completely trolling your show, or does dead air time for the entire time, and calling back? Like, how can you deal with that?
Well, the last couple of years, I've been tormented, and I mean tormented.
I'm a retired troll, and I'm.
Now, if you listen to some of my former shows, like I did a show on net neutrality. I did a show on the Japanese stock market, how it was collapsing. It's steady right now, but it still has lost quite a bit. I mean, the biggest downgrade on it was 661 points. That's equal to our 777 point drop on the Nasdaq in one day.
I feel like somebody blew their noses in a car.
It sure did.
I think it's okay to troll every now and then and know how to troll. It's
and I'm having an open forum night, so anybody can call in, real or troll, or I think all voices hold value.
And at the end of the day, what is really a troll? What is really a troll? Exactly. It
like
just
troll,
covers. Right. Just covers. It covers too broad a scope. It's lost meaning. It's lost meaning.
Well, especially on this network, it's done so often.
Right.
This rule, here's how you defeat trolls, right? Because the definition of a troll is
there's no adversarial relationship with trolls here. We want to pray with them and love them.
Yeah, why not pray with them? Cool. I think that sounds great. But what about iHeartRadio? You guys are missing out. You can get on Spreaker. Have you heard of Spreaker.com?
No, but I can hack it for you if you like.
No, don't.
No hacking. No hacking.
Oh, God, you're
no hacking.
What was the name of the website again? I use this thing called Black Knight, right, on my computer, and it lets me get anything I want. It's really cool.
Please don't.
I'm not going to hack it.
I'm being as polite as I can, sir. I really am.
All right.
I'm even telling you about opportunities.
I would not incite people to troll, but I certainly would pray with them and minister to them.
Yes.
Yeah. Whether it's Gaben or anyone.
When you're trolling with God on your side, the results are going to be much different and better.
Wow, that's a good trolling with God on your side.
Right.
That would be a great show title.
With God on your side, trolling in an ocean of trolls. Oh boy.
Right. Trolling with Jesus the carpenter, riding on that little donkey right next to him.
Yeah.
Whoa, let's not be...
The talking donkey.
Quite a concept. It's quite a concept. If you guys work with this, you could really make history. I'm
really
retired.
Good.
I'm retired.
There's some
you guys have been on Blog Talk a long time. Think about it.
Can I ask you a question, please? Yeah.
Sure.
So, where were you born? Because I'd like to know, like, where in America people, like, a bit, like pastors and stuff usually come from.
I didn't hear exactly what he said.
But,
he wants to know where pastors come from in the U.S., like what part of the country do they hail from?
all over the place.
Bill, what would be your answer?
You have to wiki it.
Well, personally, my ministry is in Tampa, but I also have some people in Clearwater.
Mhm.
So
now I know Mississippi is the most religious state of the union, so my bets would be on Mississippi. It's the #1 religious state in our nation.
You know what else I know about Mississippi? It's also the poorest state in the union. But I didn't know that it was the most religious state in the union. It's the poorest state in the union.
Yeah, we're pretty poor in Oklahoma, and we're very Republican. You know, if you want to live like a Republican, vote like a Democrat.
I heard you guys have a black president. Does that mean, like, I heard you guys have a black president, so does that mean, like, people in America that are black, do they get more privileges than white people do?
No, and he's not black.
Well, they sure had bragging rights for the first 2 years. I'll give them that. But those bragging rights really went down south.
Those bragging rights and $1.50 can get you a cup of coffee.
Right, but then your coffee's poisoned because it came from him.
Oh, who knows?
I don't know.
I like coffee. I like coffee. In fact, I need some creamer. I bought Menudo today. God, it was good. It was expensive.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Menudo is? It's a Mexican tripe soup with tripe.
No.
And like a tomatoey type of base.
Oh,
and
it's a soup.
Yes, God.
I love soup. You know that.
Yeah, it was cold, rainy weather. It was $10 for the container of it, but I feel it was worth it, and I just love it. I might go get some more tomorrow.
Well, I will say we have 20 minutes before the live stream ends. If you call in before the 20 minutes are up, I will possibly go into overtime because we do have a lot of callers. Looks like one of them might be a repeat caller. He's not. It's only Saturday, right?
Yeah, but he does
Saturday. This is Saturday, right?
Yep. I didn't have the number. I had to research the number.
Is he on Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday night. Yeah.
If I call into a show, it's usually on Sunday.
Okay.
I just shake my head at all the voices interrupting each other. And I've never heard such a cluster, in all my life. And
well, Kat said that criminal element done took over.
Yeah, the Perry Steele element, or the way where they would talk on a show.
I don't know.
Have you guys ever met Perry Steele, Pastor Bill, and Skype caller?
No.
Perry Steele.
Do you think Perry's around, Beasley? Do you think Perry's around?
Well, Perry always ain't never far away if I'm around, because Perry really close to me. He close to me. He close to me as a raccoon. I can go hunting for raccoon. Yeah. You in Australia or are you in England?
Pardon?
Are you in Australia or are you in England?
I'm in England, but like the part of England that I'm in is really close to London, so we have what's called a Hackney accent, so it sounds really thick and it kind of sounds like Australian, but I get kind of offended when people call me Australian, right, because Australians are stupid.
Well, Australia was built on the backs of criminals, correct? That's where you guys sent your... Know. Well, I understand that England sent their bad boys over to Australia to found it. I think I lost Beasley. Oh, no, there he is.
No, I'm here. All
right, my board's doing some weird things again.
I can't tell the difference between, and the funny thing is I can tell the difference between, if looking at people, I can tell the difference between Chinese, Koreans, and Japanese. I can't really tell Vietnamese that much, but Chinese, Koreans, and Japanese, I can definitely tell the difference, but I can't tell the difference between an English and an Australian accent, and I get it wrong all the time.
I'm getting better at it, I am.
I'm kind of perceptive when it comes to this.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends in Australia. I would love to go there one day. What country would you like to go to, Beasley?
I'd probably like to see. Well, I know what I'd like to see the pyramids in Egypt. I think that'd be a cool thing to do. I'd like to see.
You're American.
I'm not worried about that. I mean,
I would be.
I'm going to be cautious anywhere I go. But I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the Taj Mahal. I'd like to see the Red Square in Moscow. See Lenin in the tomb. The Great Wall of China. All of those things.
I've been to Great Wall of China.
I've been to England and France. But you want to know, I'm not really that there's things that I want to do here in California.
Really?
I want to drive further up the coast and go up north, and I've never been to Oregon. And Oregon's green and lush and wet.
And not drought-ridden.
Yeah.
Is the drought affecting you?
Well, not yet. And it's been raining the past few days, but it's severe. I'm trying my best to cut down water. I'm trying my best to cut down on water.
I'd be in trouble if I was over there with all the baths I take. So, Sky Caller, you're still on.
Bath?
Yeah, I've got to go. Actually, I've been up all night, and it's really early in the morning for me. Actually, it's about 7:44.
Oh, well, you better get some sleep.
I'm going to go to sleep. But
well,
yeah,
thank you for coming on.
Let me know.
And come back.
No problem.
I'll probably have a show probably early in the morning for you tomorrow night. It'll be early in the morning for you.
Cool.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. One thing before I go, no troll and nothing.
Yes.
I've been doing a little of my computer work while I was sitting in the call, and I'm just going to let you know, like, my mum owns a company for shoes, high-quality shoes here in England. So I'm going to send you a package. Like, I've already got your address, so you don't have to give it to me.
Oh, my gosh, you didn't talk to me already.
No,
a lot of people know it, so.
He said, I've already got it.
I wear a 7.5. I don't know what that is in English terms.
I'm not going to send it out to anyone. I'm going to use it for my own personal stuff. So,
right. Sunday delivery.
I need some shit kickers is what I need. Excuse my language.
If you're gonna bring something tomorrow, if you could bring some fresh squeezed orange juice to go with breakfast, that'd be really nice.
All right, I'll send you a box of oranges from Florida then.
Oh, that'd be nice. that'd be nice. If you wanted to come along, I'll make breakfast. I like Sunday breakfast.
Do you like to make breakfast, Beasley?
Yeah. Well, not all the time.
Do you put blueberries in your pancakes? Do you roll them into it?
I rarely make pancakes. I didn't eat them for a long time, but no, I do. I actually eat your southern type of breakfast. I like grits, I like eggs, and a little, some of that, maybe a little turkey bacon,
3
some sausage.
callers that I haven't picked up, I will get to you. If anybody else wants to call in, you have 13 minutes to call in before the live stream is over. Good to me. I mean, I don't know why, but I'm happy.
These are the nicest
I think it's because every voice has value. I truly, truly mean that.
I think some of them have called more than once, but that's okay.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I think so.
I wasn't Skype caller, are you on? Now, he called in earlier, but his call dropped. So, and that's been happening to people.
Yeah,
I really wasn't sure about Morgan Freeman.
I believe he was real. I was listening to that part. I believe he was real.
You believed he was real, too?
Yeah,
he was close enough, and I like it was possible.
Yeah,
well, I've had an ambassador tweet a UN ambassador, Mohammed Sarkabi. He's tweeted my Blog Talk radio shows before.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
When I was
cool.
When I was on Twitter and I would do some trolling, I've had interactions with so many people. Donna Brazil from the Democratic National Party.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Sent me private messages.
Yeah, they invited me to the national convention many times, for Oklahoma. My Oklahoma party didn't ask me, but the people from national headquarters called me. It was crazy.
Go Sooners.
Well, it's expensive to go to those conventions. What did he say?
Good night.
Well, good night to you, and thank you so much for stopping by, Come back again.
You're welcome. Thank you. I will.
God save the Queen.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, he's dropped. So it's just you, me, and 3 other callers.
Well, I'd like to troll
That's
so
not
much.
Bad. Well, I think some of those were real calls, don't you?
I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. As long as they're nice.
I want to try to give them respect and to allow them to have their voice to have value.
He said,
it seems to be working for me.
He said, I don't know. Don't play with fire. Don't do events in the Bay. He
fire.
Said, but I like this guy said. He said, I pick out some nice shoes for you and everything. He says, but don't worry, I already have your address.
Yeah. It's a little unnerving. That's a little unnerving.
He said it's
Maybe
so
that's why
calm.
my computer went offline.
Right. No.
You see, I had a nice verse all set for the one that was supposed to be the survivor, in Hosea chapter 2. Hosea is an interesting book in the Bible.
Oh, boy.
Have you ever heard about it?
I haven't, no.
Hosea was told by God to marry a pagan, like the worst sinning. I forget her name. Let's see.
Rapunzel?
No, I don't. I'm just in the 2nd chapter. It doesn't say her name in the 2nd chapter. I can't remember that part. But, like, she had other lovers. I mean, she was like the bottom of the barrel. The absolute bottom.
Jezebel.
Now, Jezebel had a lot of power and was not as bad as she's painted to be in the Bible. It's just, wow. Like it says, their mother has been unfaithful and has conceived them in disgrace. Well, as she said, I will go after my lovers who give me my food and my water, my wool and my linen, my oil and my drink. Like she's going to go after for money. But in the 15th verse, the wife is supposed to be Israel, and Hosea is supposed to be God, and Israel is a whore in this book, in the book of Hosea. It's one of the poetic books. It says, it talks about the desert. I will punish her for the day she burned incense to the Baals. She decked herself with rings and jewelry and went after her lovers. But me she forgot, declares the Lord. Therefore I'm going to allure her. I will lead her into the desert and speak tenderly to her. There I will give back her vineyards and make her valley of anchor, which means trouble, a door of hope. There she will sing in the days of her youth, as in the day she came up out of Egypt. And that day you will call me my husband. You will no longer call me my master. It's a very poetic book. It's a story of redemption. It's a story of hope and, that someone will love you through whatever you're going through. I think it's a hope for anybody that has sinned in any way, shape, or form to know that God loves you through anything if you believe in a God. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So, I did go to a Christian college. I'm well studied and all that good stuff.
I think it also tells you to not only that God loves you, but to give yourself, go ahead and forgive yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Lift the burden, that you put on yourself. And I've had a pretty interesting life, and I've made some choices, and I've probably made some mistakes, but I've never really looked at things and back with regret. You make your decision based on the information that you have at the time, and a lot of times on how you feel, on how you feel about something. And you have to throw the caution to the wind. But the some of the mistakes, I don't beat myself up. They're learning lessons. I don't beat myself up, and I always seem to make amazing comebacks whenever I have some setbacks. So, yeah, and that's part of.
You remember
that
philosophy.
Paul,
he would talk a lot about our thought life. Whatever is true, whatever is pure, think on these things. He didn't say that, or to give praise. Whenever he would talk about giving praise in every situation, he didn't say you have to feel, how would I say that? You didn't have to feel it, you just had to do it. And by doing these things, edifying your life with your lips and edifying your mind with your thoughts of thinking of good and pure things, that will only benefit you. It will never hurt you.
That's the truth.
To give thanks in all situations. Galatians 5:18. See, I know my verses. I don't have to depend on someone else for a.
I heard someone say that the story of Moses and the Hebrews leaving Egypt with the Egyptian armies on their tail, that it's historically proven because they found the wheel of one of the chariots in the Dead Sea. I had to bite my lip when I heard that one.
But one wheel, they should have been many wheels. All that's possible. But the Egyptians do not believe in that story at all.
I searched high and low looking for that. But some folks don't really know much, but they can't stand to be corrected.
That's true. That is true.
I was accused of being disingenuous.
Really?
Yes, that I said exactly that. Earlier today. Earlier today on
Which
a radio
show? Because you call a lot of different shows.
Well, I won't say any name. That way you'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I was accused of being on sides. I'm like, I'm just a little bit too much of a macho type of dude.
I think you're pretty much a maverick. You fly on your own wind.
Right. That's if you've seen me operate, you'd know that I fly my own wind, and and we throw caution to the wind, and however it falls, that I'm not really teaming up with anybody. In fact, when OAJ, when I first came around, he was trying to attach himself to me. I guess he wanted a sidekick, and I told him I wasn't. And I told him I wasn't really interested in a sidekick. I roll solo. Kick rocks.
Well, maybe he was just feeling kind that day on Vern's show. I remember him approaching
you. He saw the troll in me, and he decided and he wanted to have
Vern
it.
tried to help you. He did. I think he succeeded. I don't think you're the troll you used to be. There's more dimensions to Beasley than...
I actually learn things and feel brain cells increasing when I go on that show. He challenges me to think.
That's good.
He challenges me to think. And even though, he challenges you to think.
And he's a high school dropout. I think it's wonderful how he's done.
He challenges you to think and to express yourself and to put your words together, and you've got to be on your feet, and and he gets challenged right back. I exchange.
True, I make him angry though. One moment, we have 2 minutes left before the live stream ends on Truth Talks Radio, where every voice holds value. If you want to continue to hear, or if you want to be picked up, if there's something you need to get off your chest, you want to trash talk your boss, the wife, the dog who just ate your shoes. I don't know. The doctor who doesn't know anything but charged you way too much money. Call in. Let me know about it.
Random black
Mexican people. Even if it's a racial thing, as long as the N-word is not
imaginary black or Mexican people.
Just whatever,
Barack Obama.
They can rail about him. Politics, religion, any area that's considered taboo to talk about, you can talk about here. And every voice has value here.
Battletoads?
I guess I got a lot to learn. I do. I'm going
to want to know something?
them.
I heard him lose patience with you that one day. But
it's happened more than once.
Oh. There's something about the tone of your voice, and it like the Jew does the monotone. You have your little light way of talking, and you can, and there's just a certain way that you can phrase things and continue to do it, and you continue to do it, and it slips right underneath someone's chin.
I don't even mean to get the reaction I get, but I could see where it would be considered trolling, but it's not on a conscious level.
It's just who you are.
These people calling my show can bring out the inner troll in me.
No,
so with that, you have 20 seconds to call in. Maybe you'll be the one to bring out the inner troll in me. Who knows? Maybe I'm a genius and I don't know it.
You said in real life you combine the voice and the attitude with the face, where you can actually probably use less words. You can just say a couple of words.
Oh, I have these looks that are just, people get offended. I was in a play called The Halls of Ivory. It was former, or I guess not former, I think he's passed, the Marshall, what's his first name? Supreme Court Justice.
Thurgood Marshall.
You know, the one that did the civil rights movement? Thurgood Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall, right.
He did a case. It was called the Ada Lewis Scipio case versus the state of Oklahoma. It set the grounds for Brown versus Board of Education.
Right.
And Oklahoma is one of the biggest racist states in the nation. You know, we've had the biggest race right here, and we had a landmark case because Oklahoma University would not allow African Americans to be part of to attend classes there. And the president, his name, Oklahoma University at the time, his last name was Cross. So we would get all these letters saying, "Dear Dr. Burning Cross," and people would recite the letters, you know. That was a popular epithet, you know, to address him as Dear Dr. Burning Cross. And it got really ugly. But I played a racist. And I didn't have very many lines, but I had these looks, these go-to-hell looks that the director thought I worked so hard on it, Beasley. He thought and they paid me to do this role, that I'd worked so hard on it, and I'm thinking, I didn't. I just used my mother's look,
right.
You know.
I'm a natural at this, right?
Yeah, and it offended so many people that the nasty look that I would give, that some people would, you know, when they're shaking the actors' hands in the line, you know, they want to meet the actors. This one, you know, it wasn't just this one man, but there was a couple of people that would take a step back, and they wouldn't shake my hand. And this one guy goes off on me one night. Man, I was about ready to get up out of my seat and yell at you. And I didn't have, the scenes that he was going to yell at me, I had no words. It was the look on my face.
Oh, right. Well, that's good acting.
Yeah. It was, it wasn't fun to play that role, but it was good to get deep into it. It was nice to see that type of reaction. Made me a little bit nervous that night that guy started yelling at me, you know, caused a big scene. I'm like, whoa, wait. You know, no, I didn't, you know. It was just kind of crazy.
You know, you never got a chance to explain to me. I'm sorry to skip, but it just popped to me. You never got a chance to explain to me that you wanted to hear from the Beasleys of the world. I don't know exactly what you meant by that.
Yeah, because I think
I don't know how to
the world are misunderstood. And callers, I do see you. I will pick you up, I promise, especially the one that's been holding 30 minutes. The Beasleys of the world. Yeah, they're misunderstood. They're often mislabeled. They live in the moment. They're authentic. You know, they're not going to give you a line of BS like other people will. I think you're very much that type of person. You're not going to BS anybody, you know. You're just going to tell them how you feel and how you think. And if you do give them a false story, it's because they deserve it. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, it all depends on the kind of mood you're in. But, yeah, there's no reason to, I'll give it to you pretty straight. I still don't know exactly what it means that you want to hear from the Beasleys of the world, but I know that
I want people that are authentic. That are authentic, that are not going to hide behind a charade. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like they try to say big words and try to impress people with big words. When it's not integrated in you, you do have a good vocabulary, but it's integrated in you. It doesn't sound superficial when you say certain words.
Yeah,
it sounds
fluid. I actually use the word. I'm not trying to sound smart. I'm trying to express myself, right? So you understand what I'm saying.
And you're not elitist. That's a big thing. The Beasleys of the world are not elitist.
I ain't that snobby overall. Pretty good, fairly down to earth. I could really be a snob.
Like you don't talk about wearing Rolexes and mom Mercedes. You know, you don't do that shit.
Well, I have mentioned that.
Because I mean, who does? Okay, we know who does.
I do have a Mercedes. Yeah, but that's tacky though. That is actually kind of tacky.
Yeah, but you wouldn't throw that in people's faces. You know, to show that you're so much better than them.
And that stuff comes and goes. Well, you know what? This is a battle.
True.
This is a battle of wits, intelligence, and quick thinking, and sometimes insults. And words should be sufficient. And
it should.
Words should be sufficient. And I'm good with the words. I'm good with the words.
All right. Well, why don't we bring on a caller on that note, because they've been so patient. And I appreciate them being patient, because I know that's difficult to do when you're on hold for so long. Like, when are they going to pick me up?
Come on. At the same time.
Oh, my God. Should we?
Yeah.
We'll just do one at a time, and we'll add them.
All right.
We'll do open forum, but so that everyone gets announced correctly. Okay, Link, you are live on Truth Talks Radio, where every voice has value.
Hello.
What do you have to say tonight?
Well, I was disconnected. I was talking about injecting marijuanas.
No, we've been having a lot of problems with the board. I mean, even Beasley got cut off earlier.
Yeah. Well, what happened was I've been injecting 10 marijuanas daily, and I think my addiction has been spiraling out of control.
Now,
okay. Well, I do see we have the pastor online. I'll have to pull him on. Maybe I understand that he was an addict at one time. Maybe he could help you. Are you seeking help tonight, or are you just?
No, I just wanted to give a shout out to my friend Enemy, and I just want to say that Pleb is a big fucking faggot. And
who?
Pleb.
Who killed himself?
Pleb. He got really mad.
He said he wishes that Pleb would go kill himself.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And that he's an exceptionally
Can we
large
rephrase that a
African-American.
different way, or?
Okay, Pleb is a really big faggot, and he's mean to me. That's how we can rephrase that.
Okay, well, why don't we say that karma finds him? Is that a good way to say it?
Well, I hope that something else kills him.
I hope, I would hope that all the joy, and I hope that the way that you made me feel is returned to you tenfold.
Oh, okay, that's a better one. I hope the way you feel is returned to you tenfold.
You gotta love the coachable one.
Yeah.
Well,
let's bring the pastor on. If you want to stay with us.
No, I like injecting myself with marijuana.
Well, let me ask you this: Where do you stick the needle? Yeah, don't end up like Philip Seymour Hoffman and dead in the bathroom with 50 No, it would really suck if they found you with like 50 packets of unused marijuanas, the unused marijuana's in your bathroom, and they found you in your underwear. I mean, let's face facts. If he OD'd and he had the needle in his arm, he definitely left skid marks. And what does your mother and grandmother always tell you? Make sure you have clean underwear on in case you get into an accident when you go out, that you don't have skid marks in your underwear. And I would bet that if he didn't crap on himself, that Philip Seymour Hoffman had skid marks, and that's just unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I think that's beyond the point, though.
But where do you stick the needle? Do you inject the marijuanas in your butt, between your toes, in your arm?
Well, sticking it between your toes?
Hey,
some people do.
Junkies got to find wherever they could find a vein. He said, "Serious? For real? Yeah, in between their toes."
Honestly.
In their neck.
I heard that that your genitalia has a lot of blood flow.
There you go. You got
we'll bring the pastor on because he knows a lot about addiction, or did at one time. Pastor Bill, are you with us again?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised you picked up my call. Your Blog Talk show seems to be off on a website.
Well, on the website it's off, but this is overtime. I have 2 hours live and then an hour overtime. That's why I try to get people to call in before the live stream ends. That's what I meant by that.
Wait.
Oh, I see.
Lady, can I have your Skype username so I can talk to you? Because you sound pretty.
I have a Twitter account. We can talk through there. It's Truth Talks Radio. And then I'll decide if I don't want to announce it here, okay?
You don't talk to me, okay? It's okay.
Okay, he dropped. Well, he seemed awfully surprised that you could shoot between your toes. I mean.
Yeah, well, you learn something.
All right. That was an obvious troll. I mean, you cannot inject marijuana. It's obvious.
No.
I don't know anybody that could.
Well, you can reduce it into a liquid, into a tincture, and to shoot it. But it's.
I wonder what that would feel like.
It's more fun to eat in Rice Krispie treats.
I would think so.
A hell of a whole lot of
I go
fun.
into the hospital a lot, and they do those IV pushes. Nothing like Dilaudid.
Oh, God. Well, that's a hardcore, heavy-duty drug.
They offer it to me all the time.
Right.
Yes?
Did you guys hear about that Bill Nye, the science guy, versus Ken Ham debate on evolution?
I did hear about it,
I'm
but
on
I didn't
Bill
pay
Nye's
much
side.
attention with it.
You're on Bill Nye's side. Okay, I was wondering
I read
what
an article.
your take was.
I read an article. I did not hear the debate.
Was. Okay, but about evolution and creationism, what are you guys'
I think creationism should be taught as a theory, and I think evolutionism should be taught as a theory.
Oh, God, evolution. Okay. Obviously, that man evolved.
The key point is that the children learn how to support their theory, and it's good to have another theory to go against. Have some children take evolution, other children to take creationism. I feel sorry for those kids.
The religious
creationism.
I heard creationism.
I said, what is your personal opinion? Do you believe in evolution or creationism? I believe in evolution. Okay. And there's a lot of scientific evidence to back it up.
I believe in the God particle. The scientists are, when Star Wars came out, when they were talking about the Force, a lot of physicists, they did not agree with it, and now they're agreeing because they found the God particle. I think there's somewhere in between the two. And I think that'll come to pass within the next 10 years.
Never heard of that God particle thing.
No, I mean, honestly, they proved the God particle. Yeah, the Force, so to say.
What is the God particle?
They talk about black holes, how they suck all the energy. I'm trying to think of a way to say this where it makes sense. I read it, but sometimes I don't quite understand how to explain it. The God particle. You can Google the God particle. There's lots of articles on it. And they're talking about the black holes, and they thought it was sucking all the matter into it. It's not. It's revolutionary. This has been within the last year and a half.
Hawking just came out and said that his biggest mistake was saying that the black holes were the black holes.
Yes.
He's
part of that finding.
Yeah, it's sort of their biggest mistake. But I think evolution and creation speaks to more about the evolution or the creation of man. Was man created, and put here as Adam and Eve, or did man evolve into what he is? And I think the record is, and the science backs up evolution, and it just conflicts with people's strongly felt religious views, and people want to hold on to the Bible so closely that they'll really honestly believe that the earth is 5,000 years old, 5,000 or 6,000 years old, which would mean that, that human beings were walking around, or Homo sapiens were walking around at the same time as the dinosaurs. And it's just, come on.
Oh, no, they played with the dinosaurs. That's what the Creation Museum. I'm sorry that offends you.
Yeah, that's nonsense. That's complete poppycock.
No, that's what they have at the Creation Museum. They have this thing where the dinosaurs and humans played together.
That's so unfactual. That they would teach people that. That's so unfactual. So they're to each their own. They could think that if they want. It doesn't bother me that they think that.
Right. Well, I mean, to me, the important part is that, God created, and regardless of the process that he used, I wasn't there. I don't know how he did it, but, I'm skeptical about a lot of aspects of evolution, but, I'm not gonna say it's outright, it's an outright lie or anything. Just
look at a monkey and look at a gorilla and look at man.
Right, and your point being is?
There's a lot of similarities there.
There's a lot of similarities between, cats and dogs. They're all animals on all
cats
fours.
Cats and dogs don't look like people.
Well, if you look at a gorilla and you look at a human being, they're quite different.
After hundreds and thousands of years of evolving, they brought us to what we are today.
Well, like I said, I'm not saying that evolution is not true. I'm not saying evolution is a falsehood. What I'm saying is that there are some aspects of evolution that I am skeptical of, that I believe are... how can I say this? They seems to be extrapolations and speculations, some aspects of evolution, Now, I'm not saying it's, like I said, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm on the fence about it. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But
it's all about extrapolation. It's all about going backwards. It's all about going backwards and try to and figure out some type of origin. The charts are there.
Obviously, but what I'm saying is that sometimes they take some facts and extrapolate them to crazy ends. Like
I don't see people arguing the reality, or I don't see people arguing the viability or the veracity of evolution with having an agenda. But I see the folks that are pumping creationism as having an agenda, and the agenda has to fit into their religious dogma, because they're going to hold on to their religious dogma, whether it's scientific, logical. All of that goes out of the window. It's written in the book. This is the way they interpret it, and this is the way that it is. So they're not taking in any other information except this is the way that it is, because this is the way that God said it, and the rest of you are wrong. So
there's a huge amount of non-Christians and non-religious people that have a problem like me are looking at it and say, listen, there's a lot of things that are true in evolution, but some of these things are huge extrapolations that they don't have any data to back it up. And
there's some missing links. There's some missing links.
Well, definitely. And like I said,
tomorrow night I wanted to ask you, Dan Beasley, maybe we could do a talk on creationism versus evolution, possibly, even down to that movie. What was the name of that movie?
Planet of the Apes.
No, it's about the trial, the Scopes trial.
Wind
on the Plain,
I know what
or
movie
something
you're
like
referring to.
I
don't remember the title.
Clarence Darrow. Yeah, the Scopes trial in Tennessee. He spoke. He taught evolution, and they brought him up on charges.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
I've had a caller that's been on here the whole time. They never raised their hand. Maybe they were just listening. Why don't you guys two talk about the Scopes trial, and I'll see if they want to speak in the green room, so it'll be private. All right. I'll be right back, you guys. Carry on.
All right.
Do you have Netflix?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Netflix, yeah.
There's a lot of cool shit on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, there was a movie with, what's his name again? Ben Stein? It's called, oh boy, I have it. What's the name again? It's about evolution and all those things. It's about intelligent design. I don't remember the title. I'm sorry. Expelled. That's right. Expelled. Have you seen it?
I haven't noticed that one yet.
All right. Well, Ben Stein, the host in this movie, and he's interviewing a bunch of scientists that got kicked out or expelled of their universities and so on and so forth because they were believing in intelligent design.
Well, Michelle Obama says she believes in intelligent design, but I don't think she knew what she was talking about. She did at one point, but I think she thought it was something else.
You think she's talking about stuff and doesn't know what she's talking about? She is a lawyer. She did go to Princeton.
Well, everybody's entitled to make their mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody was so shocked, and it looked like she didn't realize why people were being so shocked. It was her reaction that kind of told me that maybe she thought intelligent design was actually evolution. So that's what seems more intelligent.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
amen.
I mean, everybody's entitled to make a mistake. I'm not hating on her. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. I wasn't aware she made that comment.
She did. Oh, this is maybe about 2 years ago. If you Google Michelle Obama believes in intellectual design, or however it's said, they'll come up with the articles and even the soundbite.
I see. But what was that thing about Netflix, Beasley? What did you have about Netflix?
I bet he told her. I said, you know what? Before you start making public comments about stuff, why don't you run it past my staff first? I got enough problems. He probably told his wife. Yes.
Well, what's going on? I'm confused.
I was saying that the president probably told his wife after the backlash that she caught for saying that the next time before you speak, why don't you run what you're going to say by my staff first, because I already have enough problems going on.
I imagine he laughed
President
about
Obama
it.
mentioned, he made many statements about him being a Christian, a devoted Christian, and he repeated it, many times, and I happen to see it. He's genuine Christian.
I need to ask you, do you guys watch The Living Dead, The Walking Dead? Do you watch that one?
I've watched the first season. Only the first season I've watched.
I'm watching. There's been these marathons, season 2 and season 3. We watched the first season. I bought that. My kids are driving me nuts.
Well, it is a good show.
Oh, we lost Beasley.
Oh.
Well, my show is usually about talking about the truth, whatever that may be. And that it's not for the oversensitive. I see being oversensitive as a form of abuse. And I won't, I can't believe you said that. That's not really good dialogue. To be a grown-up,
Mind. We need to
I agree. It sounds like you have a very open mind. I like that.
Oh, yeah, sure. I like that you have an open mind, too. That's how, that's what a conversation, should be about.
True.
Having filters to be able to, say what's on our mind.
Now, in the future, I'm going to have a doctor on.
Listen to a lot of a radio show called Coast to Coast AM. I don't know if you've ever listened to that.
No, I haven't.
Maybe
Tell me about it. Well, I think we're at the close of our show. I'm going to upload this episode to Spreaker.com under Truth Talks Radio. Hopefully it might make it to iHeartRadio. You never know. You just never know.
And you said you wanted to do Beasley about creationism? Sorry?
Something about creationism?
You said you wanted to do a show about creationism?
Yes, we could do that, creationism and evolution. Because I think you can't really discuss one without the other. What are your thoughts on that?
Right. Okay.
Anyway. All right. Well, I really, Pastor Bill, I find it wonderful that you called in.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Do you have any way we can keep in touch on...
and once again, thank you for coming on True Talks Radio, where every voice has value.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Okay,
I'm going to put you on mute. All right. And this has once again been another edition of True Talks Radio. Tonight we're talking trash talk, so people could have stress relief about the stresses in their day, their week, their month. Maybe it's their boss, their coworker, wife, husband, maybe the family dog. So everybody had a chance to vent. I rather enjoyed the lively discussion, even with the curious phone calls. You never know who's going to call on Truth Talks Radio. So tune in tomorrow night. We'll probably be discussing evolution versus creationism on Truth Talks Radio, where every voice has value. Thank you and good night.